In this episode, I'm talking in Brussels with the legendary drummer Bruno Castellucci, who played and recorded with legends like Toots Thielemans for 43 years. He played with Clark Terry, Chaka Kahn, Quincy Jones, Joe Zawinul, Jaco Pastorius, Dianne Reeves, Airto Moreira. The list goes on and on. Listen to this interview with the wonderful Bruno Castellucci. You were born here in Brussels?
No, I've born in Charleroi, Châtelet to be precise. Châtelet means a castle, and that's exactly my name, Castellucci. My parents had a dancing, so there was an orchestra playing on Saturday and Sunday. So my mother put me at the Academy of Châtelet, learned the piano. I made 3 years piano, and then I hear jazz. I put the film Glenn Miller's Story, and I said, I want to learn drums. So I went to the school, and I said, I want to quit the piano, and I want to learn drums. They kicked me out of the school. They say, no jazz in the school. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is the beginning. So then I was looking the band. The band was accordion, guitar, and singer, and a drummer. And, you know, the drummer left the drums there the whole week, so I was bashing the drums. And one day the drummer got sick. So instead of calling somebody, the guitar player said to my father, why don't you ask your son to play the drums? And I started like that, you know, in a dancing orchestra. I have a picture of that. I was about 12 years, 12, 13. And I played with the band. Then my father bought me a drums, and I played with this band. And then when I discovered jazz, I used to go to my coiffeur, cut my hair.
Hairdresser,
yeah. And he was listening to always jazz music. And I was listening to Europe numéro 1, pour ceux qui aiment le jazz, every day with a portative radio, but it was like about the one you have there.
the transistor.
Yeah. Every evening. My mother was mad. They said, you have to sleep. And I was listening till midnight. Then I had to go to school. And finally, with the hairdresser there, he was a boxer amateur. And every Wednesday afternoon, he closed his store and he trained. And I could go there and put any records. He had a beautiful collection of records. And I put my drums in his practice room, boxing room, and I put the record and I play with the Jazz Messenger, with Max Roach, so I learned how to play jazz like that.
But are you self-taught?
Yes.
You never had a teacher?
I had a teacher long time after. Well, I started with André Brasseur on the piano. He played Monk at the time. It was fantastic for me. So I quit school and I went to play. No money. So at the end, I came to my father, asked money to pay the sandwich I got for credit for the whole week, and goes on. Then I replay with a band, dancing band called the Marina, was singing with them, and then all that. Then I played jazz with Alex Corrier, Marc Moulin, you know, Quentin. And there I was playing. I think I was pretty good to play. Okay, there was a guy says, "You play good, but you missed something." I said, "What? What is it?" He was a drummer teacher, and I said, "Okay." So I took 6 months private lesson, and this guy opened me to the music, gave me all the key, with the reading, with the paradiddles, with the rhythm, with syncopation, with 6 months, very, very intense work, and that gave me how to read the part, and then I started in the studios. I played the studios, and that's it. And then beyond, then they heard me Etienne Vescu at the Jazz Orchestra at the radio. They engaged me for about 10 years. And I was doing studios and things. And the first day I had to play with Toots, I thought it was a game or something. At 10 o'clock in the morning, they called me. They say, "Are you free to play with Toots Thielemans at 12 o'clock? Place de la Monnaie?" I think that's a joke. So I went there because Toots played with Freddy Rotier, was his drummer here in Belgium. And he was at the TV. He worked with the TV, the band, the big band TV, and he had a service, so he couldn't play. So I was there. I put my drums. Here Toots coming, played the tune. After the first tune, he turns it back to me. He says, "Welcome aboard." Was in 1972. And since then, he always called me.
For 43 years.
Yes.
You ended up playing with him. Wow.
Yeah, sometimes he had some of the band also, but mainly it was me. And actually, I'm the one who plays the longest with Toots and the most with Toots. I recorded 3 albums live and 2 albums in the studio with him. I recorded with Jaco Pastorius and him. I record for Quincy Jones with Toots. And that's lead me on a lot of other recording or people, producers, and et cetera, et cetera.
Of course, I mean, once you're in that league, then people start noticing you, and then it starts to grow. Right?
Yeah. And then they call me for teaching. I never did that. The director of the Conservatory of Liège. I say, "I never teach. It's easy. You just explain what you do." So I did what my teacher did to me.
In 6 months?
In 6 months, yeah, right.
That's not a long time, huh?
No.
Only 6 months of drum lessons.
Yeah, but we used to play already, but he'd explain me so clearly what I need, what I should do, what I should practice, how to do it, and why, that he gave me
connecting the dots.
Exactly. He gave me the keys to work. So I started to do that. Liège, then Liège closed. Amsterdam called me. I was teaching in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, for 2 years. And then Brussels opened. They called me in Brussels. So I quit Rotterdam and I stayed in Brussels for 40 years.
And now you have a drum school yourself.
Yeah, that's a private school. I didn't want actually to have a private school, but a friend of mine, Toto, said, "Come on, let's open a school for the people who can go to the school because this or that, blah, 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 blah." He convinced me, and actually I accept and I love it because these people, they want to learn. They want to do something. Not all of them are good, of course not, because private doctors, dentists, lawyers, kids, some of them wants to learn. I prepare also some drummers to get into the conservatorium and to continue their
professional.
Some of them. We have about 50 people, and among the 50, they may be 6 or 7 may continue. But that's good.
How do you look at this today with all these young people trying to find their place in this jungle? There's a lot of competition. How do you look at this?
Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I found, compared to me, I have to find out how to do it, self-taught. Then I had this providential teacher who gave me the key for. But now you go to school, and in 5 years conservatorium, they give you everything. You got the whole situation,
Whole package.
And most of them, they work very hard. They have technique, they have everything. But to me, they miss the most important thing. It's the music. They don't Some of them do, but some of them don't. They just apply while they read on the book without listen to what's going on the music or the tune they play or the style they have to do, or they play what they learn in every tune they play. Same thing with saxophone player, same thing with, I don't know, piano player, if it's different.
I've noticed that too, yeah.
I noticed guitar player. Now, it's amazing the amount of guitar play goes out, etc. But there's always music involved. Like, example, yesterday you were in a concert, you hear this bass player play.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And he was at conservatorium, etc. But among all the people who got out of the conservatory on 40 years, maybe there's 5 of them, they got the music. Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy because in the music, I have the impression that you cannot learn the music. You have to feel the music. You have to feel into your heart. You have to express what is with your instrument, the relationship with the tune you play and the technique you have. But the technique is just to serve the music you play in the moment you play. Nothing else.
Yeah.
I discovered that.
Yeah. But that's also because maybe you're self-taught and you already started playing without a teacher for years. That maybe makes a difference. I mean, everybody's so used now to education.
Yeah.
You know, it's there. I mean, there's internet. I mean, I also think that the whole, let's say the young generation, it's the YouTube generation. They have all the information at their fingertips.
Yeah.
So technically, they're so advanced, but sometimes musically, maybe it's hard for them to find their identity.
Yeah, but that's right. That's right with what you say. But they don't have the history of the growing up of the music and the result of what they are today. Many people, they don't even know who's Charlie Parker.
Yeah.
Or Max Roach for drummer. I talked the other day, I said, do you know Art Blakey? Who?
Yeah.
And you get out of the conservatorium with a diploma and you don't know who's Art Blakey is, and you pretend to be a jazz player. Who you listen to?
Yeah. I have the same experience with, I mean, I don't have a fixed job at a conservatory because I'm traveling too much, but I do a lot of artist in residence stuff.
Yeah.
And whenever I talk to piano students, you know, they start about Robert Glasper, you know, with all respect. Robert Glasper is an incredible pianist.
Yeah.
But I go like, what about Oscar Peterson? What about Fats Waller? Everybody who came before. And
Bobby Timmons.
Yeah, I mean, you name it.
Yeah, name it. There's
and
Hank Jones and whatever.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, like, you know, if you listen to Robert Glasper, who has like a kind of a modern, contemporary style of playing, but you can hear that he knows the tradition.
Exactly.
He studied.
Yeah,
you know, he knows what he's taught, what he's doing, and they miss the point. A lot of young.
The starting point, you got it.
Yeah,
and the problem with most of the generation, they don't know the beginning. They don't know the start of the thing, even if you like it or not. But at least it's like history. You have to. Well, we have to, but we do it naturally. But they don't go. They don't go before the last page. They don't go. They take it from the last page and then they try. You know, one question, a guy said, I'm playing just modern music. Could you tell me what it is, modern music? He said, yeah, because everything passed its all. But do you think about Mozart then?
Yeah.
What, is it old or what do you think about Thelonious Monk? Who is that?
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what modern music is?
Yeah.
That's a big question.
And I mean, everybody worships Coltrane for good reasons. When did Coltrane pass away? In the 70s?
Yeah.
I mean, That's timeless music.
Yeah.
And it's important to explore that.
What is the result? Why Coltrane was like that? Because there was something before him. There was Charlie Parker said, I play Lester Young but double fast. It's not that you have to, but to understand where you are and what you can do and where you want to go, you have to know all that.
How was it to play with Clark Terry?
Heaven. This guy he actually is the father of all trumpet player. He's the one, for me, is the first master of the trumpet, modern and everything. Besides that, he's a wonderful guy. He was a wonderful guy. And it was always positive, always going the good direction, give good advice to everybody, never complain about what he does, and always happy, beautiful musician. The phrase, it's the same with Toots. I mean, it's about the same type of category. He could play the same tune twice, 5, 6 times in a row, and it would be always different.
Always fresh.
Always fresh.
That was amazing with Toots, right?
Oh, that's no, not terrible. Wonderful. It's
yeah, but
you know it because you play 10 years with Toots too. We play almost how many? 80 tunes, 70, 70 tunes. That was it. But every time, every night, it was like as if it's the first time you hear that tune.
Jack DeJohnette told me once, I love to play with Herbie because of his incredible time. He said, I love to play with Danilo Perez because of the Latin feel. He said, but when it comes to true improvising, Keith Jarrett is the best improviser in the world. And I think there are only a few people who really can improvise and always create something new on the spot. I think there are only like a few.
But Toots was for sure one of them. Clark Terry, true, that's for sure. That's absolutely true. And yeah, then there's some other guys there. That in different aspect, Joe Zawinul, it's also something surprising all the time. Unexpectable thing from a minute to another, even in the same tune. But that's totally different. Jaco Pastorius, a genius. It's like a...
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy my podcast, then please subscribe, leave a rating and a review. Please visit my website, mikedelferro.com, where you also will find links to my other podcast, Self-Management for Musicians. You will also find links to my music and my socials. And of course, please share this podcast with anyone interested. Nothing beats the word of mouth. Thank you. Amazing, right? How was Jaco? What is your experience with Jaco?
Yeah, well, you never know. Well, first time I saw Jaco was he played a solo concert in Berlin. The program was Jaco Pastorius, Chicoria and Gerberton, and Toots Thielemans Quartet. That was the first time I saw Jaco live. He was totally clean before Weather Report. Totally clean. The people in Berlin booed him out. So I was really mad because it was fantastic. And then next time I saw him was after Weather Report, and he was totally fucked up. Mentally, drugs and things, but he played fantastic. We played a small tour before we recorded Word of Mouth. My participation on Word of Mouth with Toots, because they record Bim Day 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 Day. That's the tune of John Lennon. What was that? Blackbird.
Oh yeah.
In Brussels, and I remember that was in Holland with Rob Franken still. and Theo de Jong was normally at the bass. So we did the tour with Jaco Pastorius, and it was a small cultural center. I forgot the city, and of course, in the room there was the 3-4 first line. There were bass player, of course. So we play with that wonderful third tune was Sophisticated Lady. Toots Rob play a nice intro to start playing. In the middle of the first A, Jaco Pastorius climbed the bass, threw it down the floor, and left the stage. Toots did no look to me, so I did this sort of a small solo or whatever to go to the end of the tune, and then the first part was it. So we wait 20 minutes, half an hour, no Pastorius. So Theo was in the room. Toots asked Theo, would you please do the second part? And Theo nicely, very nicely, come on stage and finish the part. So we finished the concert. No Pastorius still.
Disappeared.
So the place was empty. I packed the drum, put it in the car. I was with Toots in the car. And Jaco was in a car with a friend of mine, a bass player from Belgium, to drive him back and forth. And around midnight, we wait till about 1 o'clock at night, and we hear him singing, coming from outside, and say, "Come on, let's go play." Yeah, but Jaco, place is empty. We finished. It's not a club. It's a concert hall. And he wanted to play. Anyway, they got back. This was Jaco.
So sad.
Yeah, this is very, very incredible person. Very unexpected moment. But when he played, it was like it was fantastic.
There is also this notorious concert here in Brussels with Paco Seri.
Yeah, and in Belgique.
Yeah, and it was broadcasted live on the BRT.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's also totally nuts, and was running on stage, and
Michel Mainil come and played with him.
Exactly.
And his life was.
But despite all of that, I remember that when we played with Toots. I mean, again, you played with him for 43 years. Of those 43 years, I was incredibly privileged to play with Toots, and we toured a lot. We went all over the world to Japan, and we have so many stories, so much fun too, so much amazing music playing with this amazing man. But I remember that there was no single day when we were touring with Toots that he would not talk about Jaco. He talked about Jaco all the time.
Jaco impressed him very much because also the way he played piano. He was a drummer.
Yeah.
And the composition, Three Views of a Secret, this for me, that's one of the masterpieces on the whole history of jazz. Because it resumed the harmony, the melody, the rhythm, the craziness, la folie, la douceur, le sentiment,
the tenderness, yes.
Tenderness. This is, if I have to choose one number of my funeral, that's that one.
Okay, please wait for a while.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I agree. I've been doing a Toots tribute because in 2022 marked his 100th anniversary, and Three Views of a Secret is also a tune which never gets boring. It's always every time I played it thousands of times. I discover something new, and that's
particular. Yeah. That's really something, and that. Toots was really impressed by that, and as you know, he talked always about that. Always.
No,
and he wanted Eddie to play there all the time.
Yeah, he never. Yeah, yeah. No, because despite the craziness and everything, he because the thing is with a guy like Jaco, in a normal situation, you don't want to work with a person. You cannot work with it. It's not doable to work.
No, and in that period of time that we play actually we played 3 concerts before the recording, and we played 3 Views of a Secret with Jaco, but it was incredibly good, of course. But what I wanted to say with Jaco, it's the day start when he wakes up, and it could be 2 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock in the morning, or 5 in the afternoon, or that he has no time, that there was no jet lag, it was nothing. He had his own perception of what the little or something.
Like totally in the moment.
Yeah, totally. When he woke up, it's always a new day. But Jack was too. You know what? When we record the black. Black, what is it, the title now? Black Beauty? No.
Blackbird.
Blackbird
by the Beatles.
So, by the Beatles. That's our, they're recording in Brussels. And I was not supposed to be in the record, you know? And they were in the cabin to listen to so I had the headphones and I was in the studio on the drums, and I was playing with the track, but I didn't know. All of a sudden, Jaco came out in the studio. I want this, record this. So they put the tape, and I played on that tune too. So yeah, Jack DeJohnette, him, Peter Erskine, and myself in that tune. But there was not proposed. Okay, this is to tell you that at the end of the session, there was 4 o'clock. About he had 3 or 4 bottles of Coke. He drank 24 bottles of beer and 2 bottles of wine. Then I drove him to the airport. He went to Paris and flew with the Concorde still at the time to Fort Lauderdale. Now, he called me 4:30 at the night to listen to what we just recorded few hours before. That was Jaco. He called Toots at 5 o'clock also. Just to
no idea about time. Just
no. The world was what that was him.
Amazing.
Well, but a genius.
Yeah,
a genius.
Yeah, but there's always something. You know, genius and craziness. It's very close.
Both.
Yeah,
both.
And he was a perfect example.
Extreme. The genius, extreme craziness.
Yeah.
And they shot all the time.
Yeah. What a story.
Yeah.
Speaking about, because before we started this interview, before we started this interview, what am I saying? I mean, we've spent so many hours, years together on the road, but just before I pressed the record button, you were talking about famous kind of commercial songs. Ron.
Oh, yeah. Like Born to Be Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, was in 70-something, 79. And I play also to Viva España, the original, which is here in Belgium. And it was written in 6/4. Anyway, this is a world. It's a national anthem in Spain and now. And also La Danse des Canards, but I did so many.
That's da 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 da.
That's it.
They on the original.
Whack. I played the original. Then it was in the studio in Skelle, in Belgium, and I didn't know there would be a success or something. And they call the musician. We do the background with the music, and we don't know what's come after the singer, the strings, or whatever it comes. I did different things, like with Jacques Dutronc, Merde France in Paris. I was recording with him. I did music film from the Charlot. You know the Charlot? The Charlot, that's a French group. And also I'd be on the music movie with Toots and Alain Delon, the score music. I played the drums and Toots played the harmonica for 3 films with Alain Delon. Well, but I mean, this is what the musician job at that time. The studio still exists, you know. Yeah. We record in 24 tracks, and then the strings come, the trumpets come. Sometimes, you know, but when you finish, they start with the rhythmic section always, you know. Then you go, and that's what's finished.
You recorded the basic tracks, and then they would up on top of that.
Yeah. The first recording that I did with everybody was here in Holland, in Weesp.
Yeah.
With Toots. It's an album with all together the string, the trumpet, rhythm section, Rob Franken, and it was the bass player. What was his name? He married to. He played with Diana Krall. What's his name? He had Afro at that time. He was soloist with the Philharmonic Orchestra in Amsterdam. You know, he played with Diana Krall. He had the big band.
A Dutch bass player.
No, American. Black guy. And his son is a piano player.
John Clayton.
He was in the session. And there was one of the very rare sessions when everybody was there. And in the Jaco. But this is a long time ago, very long time ago. But Toots, and there was also, as a guest, Ferdinand Povel.
Yeah.
So there was, and the arrangement was Ruud Bos.
Yeah, who recently passed away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What about Quincy Jones?
Oh, Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones, he was very close to Toots. Yeah. They was like brothers, you know. To Quincy called Toots Stink.
Yeah.
And anyway, we did
Velas.
Huh? Velas. We did it in Brussels. He sent the tape, and we overdubbed here in Brussels.
Are you on the original recording?
No. But I produce Toots here in Brussels. I mix, and Toots has a letter that my mix is better than the mix that Bruce Swedien did in the U.S. Because anyway, so I'm in the album, but I didn't play the drum. The drums was I forgot. No, that's John somebody. No. I received the tape, and we opened up the Velas here in Brussels.
Man, so many amazing.
Yeah. And you know what? For one of the thing, he sent me a check, $300 for my work. There was a double scale or something, and I want to touch the check, so I had the check. I said, "This is my diploma. I won't touch it." 2 years later, I'm going to Los Angeles because I with Chuck Finley, you know, Gary Grant, they call me because they have few gigs to do at Carmelo's, Concert by the Sea and things like that. And they call me and say, "Are you free? You can come, and we're going to do some Peter Erbelsheimer's arrangement." And they Falbers, they invite Falbers and Ag van Rooyen. So I'm going to Los Angeles. And we stayed in a hotel in Ventura Boulevard. What was the name of the hotel? Anyway, we are there, and we played at the Carmelos, the big band. We played the Hot Line, and say, except a band you won't believe, big band, man, shit. Oh, this is one of the shock of my life. And then we played. Sarah Vaughan was in the room. Anyway, okay, this is. So I go back to the hotel, and the phone ring in my room. So I pick up the phone, maybe 12 o'clock. I was still sleeping, jet lag, you know. "Hey, Bruno," with a very strong voice. "How are you?" I say, "Who's talking?" This is Q. I'm like, Q. I didn't know they called him Q, you know? And me, Q who? And he said, Quincy. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry, I didn't. So anyway, he says, why don't you pass by Ventura Boulevard, La Cienega, and give me this address? And there was a producer there from the Westdeutsche Rundfunk who had a car. So I said to him, would you mind to drive to Quincy Jones' office? He invited me there, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So we drive there. I forgot the long boulevard, Cienega. And so I arrived. He said hello because I knew him. I met him several times. Say, how you doing, Bruno? Good. And I present the guy from the. Then he looked to the secretary and he said to his secretary, give him the $300. And he looked to me and says, you can keep the check. Can you imagine? This guy had a million people. I mean, wow. Gold records, and just me with my $300. What intelligent guy is.
Yeah.
So we cup of coffee and so the same proceed. So I was like so impressed. And then we play at Concert by the Sea. He didn't came though. But anyway, that was the end of the story. Then I invite him for the 70th anniversary of Toots, and he came in Europe, conduct the band, because I knew Toots liked brown ballads. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I had the impression if Quincy conduct the band by brown ballad, and Ray Brown supposed to come, but he missed the plane. Anyway, he wasn't there. And so there was a evening, and I had about 3 hours concert with the artists. They only play one tune each one. It was a benefit concert for the handicapped people of the hospital Brugman here in Brussels. And otherwise, how can you pay a thing like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the whole story with Quincy.
Was that also the concert where Stevie Wonder came?
He didn't came because the apartheid closed down, and he promised to Mandela to be there. So he sent the tape.
A recorded video.
A recorded video for that particular. He says, fantastic. A message to Toots. I'm not there physically, but I'm there with all my heart and music. And he played bluesette on the harmonica. That's
Stevie.
Stevie was fantastic. Yeah. I have a good picture.
Sorry, Toots, I have to go to Nelson Mandela.
You know, he promised and he did.
Yeah.
He did.
I also think Stevie Wonder, you know, if you see all these people, I mean, he's still going strong. I think he always stayed away from drugs and all of that. He's still producing. It's always another genius. Did you ever play with him?
No, I never had a chance. But well, he came once in Brussels, and we went to see him in the Forêt Nationale. Well, I have a picture of that in his dressing room, and then he had a Lindrums, a machine, automatic machine, you know,
A drum computer,
yeah. And he asked me, could you program something? I didn't know the machine, you know. I didn't know how to phone. Can you imagine the machine? Say, I'm sorry, I cannot do it. But he programmed the walls because Toots was coming, and the drums. The machine started playing the drums, and he played the bluesette for Toots. That was incredible. But there's a following story about that. We went out in Brussels in a restaurant close to the cathedral, the Kuckelberg Cathedral. There was his butler was with him, and the driver. Toots was there, Dirk was there, myself, and we went to a restaurant. Toots, there was a piano there, a small piano. Toots had his guitar. So we eat. It was a Greek restaurant. We would eat, and then there's a piano. So Stevie sit on the piano, start to play. Toots play harmonica. Then Stevie play harmonica and Toots play guitar. And guess what? The guy from the restaurant put the chair on the table because he wanted to close this place. Can you imagine?
Sorry, we're closing.
Yeah, exactly.
No clue.
Yeah, no. The guy didn't know who he had in the restaurant. If he just called a newspaper, tomorrow, the next day, it would be the first page of all the papers in Brussels. And instead of that, so they play one or two tunes and they hear this, and the guy said, yeah, sorry, we close. So we had to go. We go.
What an incredible story.
But I couldn't believe, because even if you're not musician or if you're not guys who you hear Stevie playing piano and Toots play harmonica, it ring the bell.
You have two legends at your restaurant. You don't even know. You're so ignorant.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story. Yeah, that's tragic comic. It's
absolutely. But that's life. You see?
Toots once taught me a great lesson. We were playing in Taiwan. We played in Taipei. Were you there?
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Yeah, we did. No, this wasn't the Blue Note.
Oh, yeah.
We did the Blue Note tour.
Yeah.
You remember? We played for 3 weeks, 21 concerts.
Yeah.
Which means 21 nights.
Yeah.
Which means 42 concerts because they changed the audience.
Yeah.
In 3 weeks, and we were always tired. And Toots was incredible, the energy he had. But anyway, I remember that there was this autograph session, and especially in Asia, people,
they're very
and then the autograph sessions took longer than the concert itself.
Yeah.
And Toots was sitting there behind the table, very patient, smiling with everybody, and really very kind. And I knew that we had a lobby call at 4 a.m. to go to the next city. So I said to him in Dutch or Flemish, Toots, I don't know, maybe we should go to the hotel because, tomorrow I have an early start on a rough day. And he looked at me and he said, Mike, you've got to appreciate every fan. And every person who comes out to you and shows interest in what you're doing and appreciates you, you have to give him that love and attention. And he was already in his 80s. He was so famous, wealthy, and still that mentality. That was a big lesson for me.
Yeah, he was very, 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 very tender, smart,
wise,
and nice. Yeah. Nice to everybody.
Yeah. And that for me, I'm not such a legend like you, and I haven't played with so many legendary people. No. But what I'm so grateful for, not only the great music he always created, was it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, I think, to be able to work with a pioneer.
Oh yeah,
which he was, because he took that harmonica and created all this beautiful music from basically nothing. There was some blues here and there, So there's an interesting mind behind that, so it was for me not only being on stage but actually off stage. Especially when you travel a lot together on these long tours, you get to talk and you go at restaurants, and I learned so much. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah,
for me, it was the gig of my life.
Yeah,
with Toots for
those
10 years.
For me too.
This year there's going to be a biography about you after 60 years.
60 years of music. Yeah, this is a guy who called me. He says, "Look, I want to write a book about your biography, your life, your thing. You agree?" So he wrote already 2 other books for Belgian musician, and there was also another one. He's a musician. There was also the newspaper Le Soir, which is an important newspaper. The redacteur says, "I would like to write something, but I had the impression that's going to be more journalistic than anything else. So I choose the musician. And we had some interviews like we just do now. And I think it's going to be more close to the musician than to the life of a person, And he made so many research and everything, and he remembered me things that I forgot. And I say, how did you find that? He says, well, I'm searching. I have different ways to do. And then he said, I have 84 pages of discography. So I didn't know I did so many records.
So there was 84, like A4.
4 pages, double pages of discography with the number of the record, the date of the record, the people, and all the information.
How many thousands of recordings?
I don't know. I do remember few of them, but I don't know. I record with so many things, and so many artists. At that time in the 70s, example, I started a little bit before 70s, but let's say 70s, there was a calling. I used to do, the session was 3 hours. We could record 3 pieces maximum, and if we passed the 3 hours, we could have a 4th hours instead, or another session. But at that time, there was period where I used to do 3 sessions a day, 9-hour studio. As a matter of fact, there was Garcia Morales, Jean-Pierre Andrade, another drummer too, Garcia Morales, with his father is Jean Morales, trumpet player, fantastic man. We put drums in the studio where we used to go to don't move always the drum.
So change the drum, yeah.
So we put it on the studio. As we change studio, we go from one studio to another with the cymbals, and it was incredible. The period was so much, and the period was also the disco period. So my feet was going like this for the rest of months, about the same tempo, same groove, same thing. But it was the job of the musician. Some of the thing was fantastic. Many people do albums, so there was 2 or 3 sessions in a row. We record the whole rhythmic track. Sometimes, like in the Studio Morgan, they have room to put a rhythmic section and brass section, and they record the string section the next day or something like that. Some choir, then blah, 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 blah. But that was the business. That was the way. Holland was the same thing. I did so many record session in Holland. Sesame Strasse with
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street with Rob Frampkin. We get in the studio, we just played in 3 hours with an album. 1 read, 1 play. 1 read, 1 play.
Unfortunately, something technically went wrong from this point of the recording. But I promise you that I will go back to Brussels to record another episode with the great Bruno Castellucci. To be continued. In the meanwhile, stay tuned for Bruno's biography. Please like and share this podcast. And also check my other podcast, Self-Management for Musicians. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy my podcast, then please subscribe, leave a rating and a review. Please visit my website, mikedelferro.com, where you also will find links to my other podcast, Self-Management for Musicians. You will also find links to my music and my socials. And of course, please share this podcast with anyone interested. Nothing beats the word of mouth. Thank you.